यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यमुनातीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे राधा मदन मोहन ललिता विशाखा राधा मदन मोहन ललिता विशाखा कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय वृंदावन धाम जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रा जय सुदर्शना लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय अनंत देव लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय अनंत देव निताई गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल कलियुग पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की श्रील प्रभुपाद की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। वन्दे श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यनित्यानन्दसहोदितौ गौडोदये पुष्पवन्तौ चित्रौ शम्दौ तमोनुदौ। कृतवान् किल कर्माणि सह रामेण केशव अतिमर्त्यानि भगवान् गूढकपटमानुषः। नीलाचलनिवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्रसुभद्राभ्यां जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। उग्रं वीरं महाविष्णुं ज्वलन्तं सर्वतोमुखं नृसिंहं भीषणं भद्रं मृत्योर्नमाम्यहम्। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। We welcome all of you for the Srimad Bhagavatam class this morning at the Lotus feet of Sri Radha Madan Mohan. And this is the August assembly of many leaders from across the country. Many of the senior most leaders of youth preaching have assembled here, and I offer my obeisances at the Lotus feet of all devotees assembled here. So this morning I was given a heading about protecting the devotees in Kali-yuga. That's the topic. Therefore I took this verse here, 1.17.41. अथैथानि न सेवेत बुभूषुः पुरुषः क्वचित् विशेषतो धर्मशीलो राजा लोकपतिर्गुरुः अथैतानि न सेवेत बुभूषुः पुरुषः क्वचित् विशेषतो धर्मशीलो राजा लोकपतिर्गुरुः. All Prabhujis can recite together, please. अथैतानि न सेवेत बुभूषुः पुरुषः क्वचित् विशेषतो धर्मशीलो राजा लोकपतिर्गुरुः. Now all Matajis together. Yeah. Atha, therefore, etani, all this, na, never, seveta, come in contact, bubhushuhu, those who desire well-being, purushaha, a person, pachit, in any circumstance, first, in any circumstances, Visheshataha, specifically. Dharmashilaha, those who are on the progressive path of liberation. Raja, the king. Lokapatihi, public leader. Guru, the Brahmanas and the Sannyasis. Translation purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada gave. Therefore, whoever desires progressive well-being, especially kings, religionists, public leaders, Brahmanas and Sannyasis. So 5 categories are given here. Kings, religionists, public leaders, Brahmanas and Sannyasis. Should never come in contact with the 4 above mentioned irreligious principles. Can you all please repeat after me? Therefore, whoever desires progressive well-being, especially kings, religionists, public leaders, Brahmanas, and Sannyasis, should never come in contact with the 4 above mentioned irreligious principles. The previous verse is another verse. Abhyartitastada tasmai tanani kalaye dadhau dhyutam panam striyasuna yatra adharmas chaturvedaha. Adharma has four aspects. Illicit sex, meat eating, intoxication and gambling. So those 4 activities are mentioned in the previous verse. They are considered as irreligious, adharmic. If somebody asks you what is adharma, you can say those 4 things. Illicit sex, meat eating, intoxication and gambling. And especially these 5 category of people should not come in contact with those 4, he says. Kings, religionists. Now, religionists includes all Prabhujis, Matajis, children, youth, everybody. Religionists, when you say, we all are trying to be spiritualists, religionists. So everybody is included in that. And kings includes anybody in lead role, and specifically Prabhupada mentions public leaders, and also Brahmanas and Sannyasis. These 5 categories of people who are on a progressive path of liberation, which means we all are targeting about going out of this world and going back home, back to Godhead. So we have to walk the pure path. Purpose is to attain the supremely pure Supreme Lord, Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan. Supremely pure. To enter fire, we have to be fire, he says. So therefore, we have to preserve our purity. So one should not contact this for dirty activities. Let's see the purport. Okay. The Brahmanas are religious preceptors for all other castes. And the Sannyasis are spiritual masters for all the castes and orders of society. Thus, the Brahmanas and Sannyasis have very great responsibilities in society. So also do the king and the public leader, who are responsible for the material welfare of all people. The progressive religionists and those who are responsible human beings, or those who do not want to spoil their valuable human lives, should refrain from all the principles of irreligiosity, especially illicit connection with women. If a Brahmana is not truthful, all his claims as a Brahmana at once become null and void. If a sannyasi is illicitly connected with women, all his claims as a sannyasi at once become false. Similarly, if the king and the public leader are unnecessarily proud or habituated to drinking and smoking, certainly they become disqualified to discharge public welfare activities. Truthfulness is the basic principle for all religions. The 4 leaders of the human society, namely the sannyasi, Brahmana, the king, and the public leader, must be tested crucially by their character and qualification. Before one can be accepted as a spiritual or material master of society, he must be tested by the above mentioned criteria of character. Such public leaders may be less qualified in academic qualifications, but it is necessary primarily that they be free from the contamination of the 4 disqualifications, namely gambling, drinking, prostitution, and animal slaughter. So Srila Prabhupada, in all his purports, explains the finer principles of uh, religion, especially what is expected of Krishna conscious devotees. Like he says, when we talk about illicit sex, illicit sex is not just a man-woman uniting. There are 8 principles of illicit sex illustrated by Yajñavakya. I'll just show you. You see? Coming? Yeah. See, Smarana means one should not think of the opposite sex. One should think of Krishna and his service. So that is Smaranam. Then Kirtanam. One should not talk of sex life, Jalpa, but talk how to advance in Krishna consciousness and practice gravity. Nowadays, even before marriage, many boys, girls, they connect on WhatsApp chat and everything, and they chat so much. And gradually the conversation becomes very impure for a period of time. They don't get married also many times. Or there's a broken marriage or something. So this type of talking, chatting, and then somebody has a broken love, and then they say, Prabhuji, can I join full time now? The temple. Why? I tried one match, it couldn't happen, so let me join. This is no good. It's not that you are a failure in material life, so you come to Krishna consciousness. Actually, those who come to the spiritual path are supposed to be materially also very, very successful people. You will read in the Gopi Geetam, the last Iti Gopya Pragayanta. There is one verse lastly. After that, there is one verse which is mentioned. It says, Gopis are saying, my dear Lord Krishna, you are so supremely attractive that the kings of the world who are holding the throne of the entire world, they throw away the kingship of the world and they run to the forest searching after you. They are saying like that. Therefore, the path of spiritual life is a very royal life. It's real great life. It is actually meant for those who have been materially very successful and still they are not concerned about material success at all. Tyaktva turnam ashesha mandalapati shrenim sada tuchhavat. So, Goswamis had one boatload of gold coins. It's not currency notes, gold coins. One boatload. If you get one mushti of gold coin, your life will be enough for your whole life. But they had one boatload of that. They gave it all up because running after Krishna, chasing after Krishna, Govinda Viraha is so attractive. They didn't mind the worldly opulences. So one shouldn't take the spiritual life very cheaply. So here it is said one should not talk about dirty worldly life on Dehatma Buddhi, bodily consciousness, such talks like sex prajalpa. Thirdly, it says, Kali, don't play or dally with opposite sex. So the Vedic norm is so strict that when one is put in Varnashrama order, why the Varnashrama is necessary? Like one category of the society is brahmacharis. At the age of 5, you go to the Gurukula, and 5 to 25. So immediately you are taught, Matravat Paradareshu. Other man's wife should be seen as mother. Paradravyeshu Loshtravad. One should not touch others' property. Atmavat Sarvabhuteshu. Treat others as you wish to be treated. So these are all taught in the early days. So Bhavadi Bhiksham Dehi. They would go to the home and beg for alms. And generally the lady would be there at home. So they would give them the alms. So one day, one brahmachari, when he was going home to home, begging alms, in one home he saw a lady feeding breast milk to a child. So as soon as the brahmachari saw that, he had tears welling up in his eyes, crying. He said, how amazing it is in the Lord's creation. As soon as the baby is born, immediately the Lord has kept a food for the child. As soon as your teeth are grown, immediately there is gehu and chawal, immediately. So Lord is providing for all the creation. So he felt the remembrance of the Lord by seeing the mother feeding a child. So this was the consciousness. Brahmachari means he is always absorbed in remembrance of the absolute truth. So uh, there is one Chanakya's 4-line shloka on this, which I told just now. He says that when one sees the mother feeding breast milk to a child, one remembers immediately the Yashoda Tanaya, he says in that shloka, the son of Yashoda, who is the maintainer of the whole creation, like that. So the training was such that wherever you turn around, you see Krishna's hand in the creation. So one is not, so when one is placed in Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanapa, Sannyas, there are stringent rules to be followed. For example, Brahmachari is told no bank balance in your name, whereas a Grihastha man is told you should have a bank balance. Brahmachari is told no contact with the opposite sex, whereas a man who is going to accept the Grihastha ashram is told Pani Grahanam, you have to catch the hand of a woman. Of course, not any woman, your father will tell you. Pani Grahanam. Somebody will give you Kanyadan, and then you accept Pani Grahanam, and then you have to circumambulate the fire 3 times, isn't it? Yeah. So Brahmachari is told you should be Aniketa, means you should have no home, no residence. If you are told to sleep in a dormitory, sleep in a dormitory. Or sometimes you are given a room, you accept a room. Aniketa. Whereas Grihastha is told you should build a house. Brahmachari is told no, don't. Most Brahmachari are supposed to have only one locker in which everything is supposed to fit. Generally, it starts like that, ashram life. One locker. After that, one locker becomes 2 lockers. Then sometimes a bureau comes. Then separately room may come. It may increase. But generally, the possessions of a brahmachari are supposed to be minimal. Correct, no? Why? Because it's a single person and you should have least maintenance. Because more the possession, more maintenance. Least possessions, least maintenance. Then what is the advantage of least maintenance? We get more time for Krishna consciousness. Maximize Krishna time, minimize Maya time. That's the goal. So Brahma is told, don't possess much. Whereas Grihastha is told, you have to have a house, you have to have a vahana, some vehicle, you have to, arrange for sari and ornaments for the wife and education for the children and all that, maintain a bank balance. So he is told to accumulate commodities. He has to accumulate. It's necessary. And Brahmacharya is told, give up all material attachments and completely focus on the Guru's order. Now, Grihastha is told to be affectionate to wife, but don't become attached. Be affectionate to wife and children and protect them, raise them, and connect them to Krishna consciousness. And Prakritim Bhajasva. In Bhagavatam, there is a word used, Brahmaji is telling. You enjoy the material creation without getting entangled. How is it possible? If somebody enjoys, you get entangled. How can you enjoy the... So how did Swami Manu enjoy his Grihastha life? Early morning, he would rise with the Shanai music, hearing the Supreme Lord's pastimes, glories in the form of a song. And then they'll gradually get up and then take a bath and come and then hear Bhagavad Katha, and then go to the court and meet the ministers and everything. Then he would go to the temple. And then evening, again, they are different pastimes for the Lord in the evening. While going to bed, they hear the music and go to sleep. So there's one full purport you will read in the third canto, I think, third canto, 33 chapter, 22nd, or that 3 point. I'll show that. So that if I give you, if I show you as a homework, you can read it yourself. This is the one. The Swami woman is saying, like him, although absorbed in material happiness, he was not dragged to the lowest grade of life. But he always enjoyed his material happiness in Krishna conscious atmosphere. This is 3:22:34. 3:20. No, 3:22:33 and 34, both. 3:22:33. Easy to remember. 3:22:33. Huh? Remember that. 3:22:33 and 3:22:34. You can read it at leisure. So, in this way, Jai Sita Hanuman ki jai. So the grihasthas, they were allowed to remain in a family and regulated lifestyle. They are allowed regulated enjoyment in such a manner that their spiritual life will not be defeated. So in this way, you find this is the reason why Varna and Ashram are divided. So, but what happens in Kali-yuga? There is one verse which says, Arakshamana striya urvibalan shochaschato purushadai rivartan vacham devi brahmakule kukarmani. There is one verse in Bhagavatam which says, Arakshamana means the women are not protected in Kali-yuga, due to which women become shelterless. Like a woman is compared to a creeper and a man is compared to a tree. A creeper always wants to take shelter of a tree. So she requires a father when she is a little girl. When she grows up, then marriageable age, she needs a husband in whom she needs a husband of good character, a gentleman who is also a spiritual advanced man, who is also a good provider. So husband's three duties are protector, provider, and guide. He should be a provider of the resources for her. Prabhupada says if a man gives her a house and a nice clothes to wear and nice food to eat and children to raise and ornaments to wear, and he is gentlemanly in speech, so provider. And protector means he has to protect her in two ways. He has to protect her from becoming materialistic and going outward by material greed. And also he has to protect her from the onslaught of other evil men, like Ravana was trying to attack Mother Sita. He has to protect both ways. And guide means he has to be a spiritual guide, like a compass for the whole family. But now if a husband is not able to do that type of protected provider guide, a woman will have to go for a job because husband is not providing for the home needs. And he himself is not religious. So he himself is having some improper connections outside the family, extramarital. Then woman goes for some other extramarital connection also. The whole family is torn to pieces by that. In this way. And he is not a spiritual guide. Why? Because he himself is not taking shelter of the spiritual master. He is whimsically acting independently. So many people are marrying, divorcing, and again marrying someone else and divorcing. Therefore, he says, in such a society where women are not very stably situated in a family life, then women, like creepers, seek shelter of some men other than the husband. That becomes a great calamity for the society. Why? Because if a lightning is in one cloud, like you've seen lightning moving between clouds. So the cloud is Jaladhar, is compared to a male. Huh? And the lightning is compared to a female. Female jumps from one cloud to another cloud. Another. Both the families are disturbed. This family is also disturbed, that family is also disturbed. So woman should be taught chastity and man should be taught to protect. So Prabhupada says, protective husband, chaste wife, and grateful children. That's a powerful family. The husband is protective in spiritual and material viewpoint. He has to be protective. And the wife is chaste. And children are grateful. Such grateful children will never cross the Mandrika laid by parents. Why nowadays children are also getting into contaminating relationships and all? Because they see parents have divorced. Our parents are having extramarital affair. Then children also get spoiled by that. It's a degraded family. Lecha. It's like degraded 10th class family. a family with clean character means a woman considers a husband her shelter, and she has no other connection with any other man. Any man, a woman should see any other man as a son or as a father. Similarly, man should see all women as daughter or as a mother. This is the way Shastras teach us to see. So there is no scope for dealing with other men or other women. The Varnashrama lays down very stringent rules. One, and for example, brahmachari. The brahmachari is wearing saffron dress means it's like fire. You already entered into fire. You are dead actually. If you are wearing saffron, you are materially dead. So like this is materially dead. Like this, you are supposed to behave while dealing with opposite sex. You are not supposed to. You are not supposed to have any material emotions. You are only allowed to have spiritual emotions, ideally speaking. So, therefore, the Kali don't dally with the opposite sex for any kind of material rasa, mundane rasa. So, prekshanam, don't look lustfully at opposite sex. Remember or focus on your favorite deity form. See, the second one is an ideal thing. First one is a nasty thing. Second one is the ideal thing, how we are supposed to behave. So, sometimes they put in a lari, Pura Nazar wala, tere mukala, something like that they put. So, Ravana also looked at Sita with a Pura Nazar. He was destroyed. Correct now? Therefore, Sita Mata condemned him. You scoundrel. She scolded him very strongly. My husband Rama is like Chandan. You are like mud, she said. He is like Garuda. You are like a crow. He is like Meru Parvat. You are like a small stone piece. He is like gold. You are like iron, she said. He is like ocean. You are like puddle of water. Get lost. Like that she said. So, because he was throwing lusty look at her, the prekshan. And Guhya Bhashanam, don't talk intimately with opposite sex in secluded place. Pray confidentially. Actually, with Lord, you can be confidential. You can go in front of deity and confidentially speak to the Lord. My dear Lord, look at my fallen position. Please protect me. There you quickly take darshan and run away and talk to somebody very confidentially. How foolish it is. Guhya Bhashanam you are supposed to do with the Lord, not with some conditioned soul. Two conditioned souls doing Guhya Bhashanam, both can drown in the samsara sagara. Both can go under the ocean of samsara. Talking to the Lord, exposing our heart to Him, we can be completely transparent while speaking to the deity. Because He is our only well-wisher friend, supreme friend. So now it's very amazing world we are living in Kali-yuga. Men will open their heart only to women and women will open heart only to men. That's the society we are living in. Draupadi is telling, only a woman can understand the heart of another woman. Because Kriti has her son Ashwatthama. I know how she will cry if he dies. So only a woman can understand the heart of another woman. So it is the duty of all brahmacharis, sannyasis, everybody to guide a girl to a senior Mataji, like an elder sister. So I have got hundreds of mails across the globe, people writing, unmarried girls writing, Prabhuji, I want your guidance. Don't tell anybody about this. I said, how can you ask me for guidance? I am a brahmachari. I have no experience of what it means to be a woman, a woman's body. So you need guidance of a senior lady who has been a Mataji, who has lived through the teen years, and then they have become married, they have begotten children, they have been family people. So immediately connect them to some senior lady. Yeah, every boy requires a senior brahmachari or a sannyasi or a senior grihastha Prabhuji to guide him. Similarly, every girl requires a senior Mataji who has gone through their family life and everything. She is mature. Seasoned devotee lady. They need somebody like that to guide them. And if we do a mistake of a brahmachari guiding an unmarried girl or a boy guided by a lady Mataji, some complications are 100% going to come. Sometimes Mataji develops a fondness for a young boy and she starts showing affection, feeding him, calling him and talking for a long time. And the teenage boy can get spoiled by that. And the teenage, she may emotionally become uncontrolled or some mistakes can happen. That is why the Shastras are laying down the line for us. Mm. Even if you are a temple president or a senior brahmachari, even if you have touched the 60 years also, still we cannot talk to any woman privately. Mm. Because in the public, you may aspire speaking in front of others. Bhakti Thakur refused to talk to one of his disciple ladies who was fit enough to be his granddaughter. And then Sankalpo, don't decide to engage in sexual intercourse. Planning to meet in some private place is a sure short way to go to hell. Yeah. And then Adyavasayascha means don't endeavor for sex life. Endeavor for saintly association, he says. Endeavoring means what? Trying to find out what is the person's name, what is his number, where is person living, chasing after some member of the opposite gender. And then finally, Kriya Nivritti is the engagement in sex life, 8th one. So, in this way, these are 8 things he says, our Yajñavakya says. So, these 8 things give us a clue on how one should avoid illicit connections. Based on these things, we can understand. So, there is a verse also which I'll just show you that verse. Etan maityamyam ashtangam pravadanti manishinaha vikarida brahmacharyam edadashthanam lakshanam. He says these are the 8 aspects of uh, uh, celibacy. He says, and those who are intelligent, they follow this principle. They are very careful to avoid this kind of wrong interactions. Once His Holiness Bhakti Maharaj came to Pune. So when Brahmachari asked, Maharaj, I have been preaching to youth. Now I have started congregation preaching now. Maharaj, can you give some tips on how I can be very careful not to fall prey to Maya? Maharaj said, what do you mean? How do you think you can fall prey? He said, fall prey to Maya means falling prey to opposite sex. Maharaj asked, don't you deal with your mother? Don't you deal with your sister at home? How do you deal with them? You have some sacred type of feeling for them. You don't think anything dirty in your mind. The same manner, when you see a woman, you should see just like you see your mother. So one of the easiest ways to avoid impure consciousness is reverence. Imagine, for example, if you're talking to your grandmother, you're taking her to hospital. Is there any possibility of any dirty thought taking your grandmother to a hospital? In the same manner, when you're dealing with any woman, one should deal with them with reverence. You see, when Arjuna was Brihanalla, dance teacher, he was going to Antapuram and teaching. Prabhupada says in one lecture, today morning when I was hearing, Prabhupada said, he was going to Antapuram teaching this lady, her name was Uttara, correct, no? So for quite some time, for 1 full year, and she developed attraction for the teacher naturally. Any student has a affection, attraction for the teacher. Then the father asked, my daughter is in a marriageable age, so can I give her in marriage to you? And Arjuna immediately denied. He said, see, I am a teacher. A teacher can never marry a student. A teacher is like a father for the student. So he said that, but I can give my son in marriage to your daughter. Who is that? Abhimanyu. So Abhimanyu was given in marriage to Uttara like that, isn't it? Now, if any of us are teaching, brahmacharis are teaching to congregation, one cannot become attracted to a congregation girl to marry her. I am teaching her and want to marry her. It's a very shameful thing. That means the relationship between teacher and student has not been sacred. It has become mundane. So therefore, one should be very careful, because if we cross certain line, in a respectful line and relationship with the members of the opposite sex, then it is dangerous for both sides. I am not only talking for brahmacharis, I am talking for grihasthas also. Husband, wife, they have to be loyal to each other and chaste to each other and protect one another within the family and remain Krishna conscious. Otherwise, now because of the impact of the social media, even a man becomes dissatisfied with wife and wife becomes dissatisfied with husband after some time. For example, if a man is watching all kinds of Hollywood, Bollywood videos, he wants his wife to be like one such heroine from the West. Yeah. And the wife wants her husband to be like James Bond. Yeah. Is it possible? Is it possible? Not possible. So if they're dissatisfied, then they will definitely go for extramarital relationship. And they are preparing to become a pig or a dog. Prabhupada says a pig eats stool and goes and connects with even daughter or sister or mother inappropriately, shamelessly. What kind of dirty thing it is eating and what kind of dirty relationship it has. It has no culture. So man or woman will degrade to that platform if they are going to not understand the seriousness of this matter. Therefore, the spiritual life is not only for going back to Godhead, it is also to preserve our character also, even while living in this world. Going back to Godhead will eventually come. But before going back to Godhead, if you need to be a man or woman of pure character, we have to live these principles very strictly, purely. In the 11th canto, there is one verse which says, Tada tada pashyati vastu sukshmam. The sukshma vastus, the pure spiritual realizations will dawn in the heart of a devotee who restricts the senses from sense gratification. If you withdraw your senses from sense gratification and always engage them in Krishna service, you will see that you are able to perceive subtler and subtler and subtler and deeper and finer truths, spiritual truths, which are inaccessible for the gross sense gratifiers. So now there's a gross sense gratifier, and here is a fine-tuned, realized devotee, and in between there can be many, many grades. Some devotees, they are little withdrawing also sense gratification, then again little enjoying also. So that much only we will get realization. We won't be able to deepen the deep faith, the depth of faith, the confidence in spiritual life, like Prahalada had such confidence and determination, conviction. All these things will not come overnight. Like we say, Rome was not built in a day. This will gradually grow. But for that to grow, we have to be thoroughly honest with these principles. So that is why, okay, now, so I was showing you the verse, Ataitani ina seveta, babushu purushak pachit, he says. So the 5 categories of people Prabhupada says, the kings, the religionists, the public leaders, the brahmanas and women. So in that purpose, Prabhupada says one very important point, that we don't have to see academic qualifications while posting somebody. But we definitely should see the character of the person. If you're offering a person post, oftentimes what happens in our ISKCON temples, we are looking for skilled people who are very expert in dealing with the outside world. How they can go somewhere and really, really speak smartly in such a magical way that they can convince somebody for a program or convince somebody for something, correct, no? And then we think that, oh, now this fellow is a super smart fellow who knows how to deal with people in Kali-yuga, outside world. He can get opportunities for ISKCON. He can grow ISKCON to another level. And so at that time, we fail to give importance to the individual's morning program, individual's pure character. And we know that this devotee has some deficiencies in this area. Nevertheless, we think these deficiencies will go away, but they don't go away automatically. Like a darkness in a room will not go away on its own unless you switch on the light. Unless the devotee makes endeavor to, switch on the light of enlightenment, the darkness will not go away. So that Gajendra says that in one of his prayers, he says. So therefore, if we are going to give too much importance to academic qualifications, is a BTech, is MTech, is PhD from IIT, NIT and all that, or he is foreign return devotee, or he is intelligent devotee, he is skilled devotee, he has a vak chaturyam, he has the ability to speak very powerfully, he is a magnetic speaker, or he knows how to convince the donors to donate a big money. So he brought 50 lakhs, he brought 2 crores. He's a powerful devotee. And then you come to know this devotee has some weakness with opposite sex. Yeah? And you feel, you wonder, should we stop him from all his services? It will be such a great loss for the temple. So here comes the real test of a leader. Are you concerned about somehow or other by hook or crook bringing money and running the temple? Or are you strict about the purity of the character of the individual? And you have to give him adequate time to study the Shastra and associate with advanced devotees and nullify the impure component in his personality makeup. He has to understand from the bottom of his heart that I have to be a genuine devotee. If I am going to be a kapati, then he cannot attract the attention of Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda, isn't it? So what is important for us? Somehow or other we have to run the movement, or we want to run the movement purely. So this is a very important question. So some people say, oh, if you're going to give too much importance to purity aspect, then what will happen? Our movement cannot expand at all. You are so strict about this. I say, oh, really? Actually, a person like Srila Prabhupada, one person went to America, you can see what kind of influence he had on the people. Because he genuinely, transparently, purely, sincerely practiced Krishna consciousness. So we have to be very careful. As it is said, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rejected Chota Haridas because of this. He banished to teach example for all time to come. That one cannot take this principle for granted, especially the illicit sex. So now here he says a sannyasi should not be illicitly connected to any woman. So in one of the, in Prabhupada's teachings, what Prabhupada says, one should avoid personal and private conversations or becoming familiar or frivolous in dealing with opposite sex. And these are very easy to avoid. Like, for example, if one is always in association of other devotees, it's not that Lord Chaitanya never talked to woman. You will see that when Ataranala, all the Vaishnavas are coming in to Puri, Mahaprabhu personally garlanded them and put chandan on their foreheads. And then he saw all the women behind. And then he told those wives of those Vaishnavas that all of you wives, you all are equally respectable and worshipable wives of the Vaishnavas. Because you are also practicing spiritual life as seriously as your husbands. So Lord Chaitanya appreciated. Similarly, once when Shivananda Sen came and told Mahaprabhu that his wife is pregnant, he saw that his wife is pregnant. Lord Chaitanya gave the name of the child before the child was born. That means he knew whether it's a boy or a girl. Correct, no? He gave the name Puri Das. He gave. So Mahaprabhu was not against householders. In fact, his whole preaching started with Srivas Thakur's house, which is called Shiva Sangan. Correct, no? That he made Rasastali. So Mahaprabhu chanted and danced in his house. Who are his associates? Advaita Acharya Prabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, Srivas. They are all his Grihastha associates. So for a brahmachari or a sannyasi to have Grihastha associates is absolutely not a problem. Provided you always deal with them in a spiritual platform. One cannot, is only Sachidananda Maharaj writes in one of his books, brahmacharis should not think that, oh, grihasthas have called us to the home for prasad, we have to go and take, it's our duty. Then you go and grihasthas are thinking, Shastras say, if you put, rice, basmati rice with ghee in the mouth of the sadhus, Lord Vishnu is more pleased with you than when you pour the ghee in the yajna. So they are thinking that if we feed these brahmanas, we will be immensely benefited. We'll get a lot of punya. So grihasthas want to feed you and we want to eat. We may just eat and sleep, offer you prasad, and they may think that we have done our religion. So he says this is not the ultimate. He says that both should work hard for expanding the Sankirtan movement. He says, we are not here to just do some ritualistic dharma. Ours is Bhagavad Dharma, means it should be practiced seriously and expanded. So then one of the purport Prabhupada writes, it's a duty of the grihasthas to invite the sadhus to their home for prasad. And then Prabhupada says, it's not always the duty of sadhus to go for such invitations. Kargrahastha home and accept prasad. You should be spiritually so advanced that, just like Krishna is absorbed, aham tvam sarva papebhyo, moksha, he can take it, and just like Surya can absorb all the urine and stool across the globe, still not get polluted. So sadhus are supposed to be like that. So then only the such sadhus can go and accept prasad. So that is why in Pune, when devotees go, probably once or twice they go in a year. But if you frequently go, then you will see, because the truckload of sins are coming on you, slowly you will go down. You will wonder, why am I going down? Because if you are eating very opulent foods, you can become weak. So therefore he is saying that a sannyasi should not be illicitly connected with a woman, and a woman should be chaste. The Brahmana should be truthful, he says. In ISKCON, many of the senior devotees are Brahmanas. Whether you are a saffron devotee or a white wearing grihastha devotee. So money matters, we have to be very, very careful. Money, one penny should not be misspent at any cost. Sometimes what happens, we take the money, we don't put it in the account, we keep it here, there, it can get lost also. Correct, no? According to Bhagavatam, you can read the last section of King Driga. Lord Krishna is telling Driga that if somebody misappropriates Krishna's money, he has to become a worm in the stool for 1 crore lifetimes or something like that. You can read that. So, if you are shocked, if you don't believe me, go back and read that. You can see for yourself. Driga pastime, last part, you will read that. Now, many people, congregation devotees, are taking the receipt books from the temple. They take 40 receipt books and give only 10 or 15. Ask, where is it? We don't know where we kept. And then you collect money, you put here and there. Very dangerous, actually. It's called Brahmaspad. Brahmaspad means Krishna's money glows. It is spiritual money, it is. It's not like ordinary money earned in a company. So this money, we have to teach both Grihasthas and Brahmachari should be taught that Krishna's money should not be touched. We have to be very, very careful. 1 penny should not go here or there. Because Lakshmi, it's Sakshat Lakshmi. What happened when Ravana tried to mishandle Lord's consort, Sita? She's Lakshmi also, no? When he tried to mishandle, what happened? You saw that. So if we also mishandle roughly, then we can get into trouble. That is why he says Brahmana must be truthful. Brahmana cannot. Like what happens, I'll tell you. There are 4 things. Dyutam panam sriya suna. Yatra adharma shatruveda. We saw that now. But there is one more. Because Kali was not satisfied with this 4. He said, give me one more place. So which place he gave? Where people hoard gold or wealth. Sometimes somebody may take the money, collect money and just keep it with oneself. Think that, I think I can sponsor some Bhagavatam sets or some Bhagavad Gita for some poor people. Or I'll give some malas to some people. And then you keep it in the locker. And that money may get lost. Or there is a possibility that you may end up using it for your own sense gratification. That's a possibility. Like one devotee was telling in my travels. So the temple asked him, how many boys are coming for the program? He said, approximately about 30, 35 will come, he said. So they gave him 40 cookies. This is not ordinary flat cookie. It's a hemisphere cookie. It's a butter cookie. Yeah, it'll melt in your mouth. And there is kaju also fried very nicely. Placed in the top like this. And so they gave him 40 cookies. While driving the car, he just picked up and put. Because he was thinking to himself, although I told 35 devotees, I don't think more than 20 will come. He thought. He just went on eating. He didn't even realize he was eating. And suddenly when he reached there, he found only 12 or 14 were there. He went on eating. So much he finished. But then the boys, we saw 40 boys had come. Because there was some mass bunk in the college. So they came. Now imagine he has got 12 cookies for 40 boys. He had to cut and give it. Little piece. So we should not say that I am going to use something in Krishna's service and use it for one's own sense gratification. That is duplicity. That's why Brahmana has to be truthful. Brahmana has to be truthful. Sannyasi cannot be illicitly connected to any woman. Woman should be chaste. And who is the 4th one? You said? Public leader should not be proud. Let us say about that. Vidyam vivadaya dhanam madhaya shakti paresham paripidanaya. Like that, there is one verse. It says, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, all four of them are glorious if they stick to their particular varna and offer the fruits to Lord Vishnu. That's what they're supposed to do. But they have a possibility of uh, misbehaving in their own orders. For example, a Brahmana, Vidyam Vivadaya, if he becomes very proud of his knowledge, he may do Vitandavad. Vitandavad means false arguments the Brahmana can make. He can misquote the scripture for his own sense gratification. Correct, no? Somebody can do that. Somebody may say, Prabhuji, Rupa Goswami says, Yukta Vairagya, therefore I have purchased a very costly car for myself. I'm going to use it in Krishna service. Correct, no? He may, in the name of Yukta Vairagya, he may do sense gratification. Correct, no? Possible. And when he quotes scriptures, people may wonder, hey, he's quoting Shastra, let him do whatever he wants. So Vidyam Vivadaya, Dhanam Madhaya, that is Vashyas. Vashya who accumulates a lot of money but does not give charity, he will become proud of his wealth. He will become a proud man and that will pave way to hell. Therefore, Vaishya should be told, so if you give money to Krishna, you will become humble. If you don't, for the Vaishyas are supposed to maintain the other three classes. For Brahmana, they should give charity. For Kshatriya, they should give tax. For Shudra, they should give food, clothing, shelter. If they don't give, they become very proud. He says, Dhanam Madhaya. And then Tip Paresham, Paripidanaya. Those are in leadership position can torment others just to increase their own pride. Like, for example, just because I have a political power, I can use that power to subdue some people below. Like on the strength of one's position. Like a Kshatriya king like Vena, for example, or Hiranyakashipu. We find about that. Similarly, in our ISKCON leadership, when we are in leadership position, we should have a healthy possession of power, which means use all the resources to facilitate the devotees' devotion service. One example I'll tell you. In one temple, there was an Adhik Maas coming up. So one devotee said, in this Adhik Maas period, I want to do every day evening some katha. Temple hall is very big, many people can sit. A lot of big crowds of people will come. Then the temple management told that we will discuss in our management meeting and then tell you. The management meeting, the talk went like this. Why this fellow wants to do in temple hall? I think he wants to increase his following. And then somebody said, why he should be doing alone? Then they made a decision that, okay, we will do katha in the temple hall. Different days, different people will do. And then you get this thing. What do you call it? Names of devotees who will do. So he went around asking devotees and nobody was ready. Everybody said, we have our own programs outside. We didn't want to do in the temple. Then he came back and said, we have our programs outside. Nobody is available. I can do it here. Then the temple said, again, we will have one management meeting to discuss. Then they said, sorry, we cannot do it because we can't give prasadam every day. Then this fellow said, I have collected donation for prasadam also. Now I have got sponsors. Every day one family is ready to do. Can I do it? He said. So now in this way it was dragged. Finally they said, we are not able to decide till now. If you want, you can do it outside. He said, this you could have told me before only. You're telling me so late now. Anyway, he arranged it outside. The point is, the leaders in position are not here to control the resources in such a manner that they will not let the devotees in the temple use it for Krishna service. It is violence. It is violence on the part of the leaders. One should not do that. Actually, the resources should be used in Lord's service. We are simply facilitators. We have no other role in the temple. We are here to facilitate. We are servants of all the devotees. Even congregation and brahmacharis, everybody, we are simply servants. We have to take the resources from the Lord and then give it to the people, and take the resources of the people and give it to Lord. We just have to become a via media. And we should not just think that I have all these are in my control. Let me see how you are going to use it. One should not do like that. It's very bad. Like one time in Pune, one preacher wanted sumo. One devotee was that man in control of the vehicles. He was telling, I'll give you Omni. You know Omni vehicle? And that fellow didn't like it. Because the Omni, it will jerk too much. Anyway, sumo is available. Why don't you give it? This fellow said, No, that I will decide because I am in charge. So then that fellow came to me. He said, Prabhuji, it's available, he's not giving. Then I called, hey, why are you not giving? He said, then he released it. After he gave it and that fellow went away, then I called him and said, see, because you didn't oblige to give him, so the matter came to me. Now, why did you not oblige? I asked. He said, just like that, Prabhuji, why is he always wanting some more? I said, don't hold the resources just because you are the controller. You are not the supreme controller. Huh? You don't become like Indra, you see. Indra was trying to control the Vijayapasis. Huh? Actually, we should not. So, this is another very important point. This is an example of a proud controller. Huh? A devotee who becomes proud thinks that uh, if he doesn't respect me, I can prove to him that I can be of nuisance value to him. Huh? This is the type of mentality. मेरे मेरे अनुमति के बिना तुम क्या करोगे देखता हूँ अभी. This kind of idea. Very bad it is. Lord is taking note of our attitudes. So that's why he is saying Shakti Paresham Paripidanaya. Vidyam Vivadaya. So in this way, this topic is a very big topic. This topic of Kali-yuga, I made some quotes from Prabhupada also. I got, like if you see, Prabhupada says, protection of Brahmanas maintains institution of Varnashram, the most scientific culture. Protection of cows maintains miraculous form of food, milk to nourish our brain tissues. Protection of children gives the human form of life the best. They can get liberated from material bondage. From the beginning of from Garbhadan Sanskar. Protection of old people gives them a chance to go back to Godhead, you see, isn't it? So in Kali, they're all not properly protected. Therefore, the duration of life is shortened and there are a lot of problems, he says. Similarly, yeah, this is all talking about protection. Yeah. The Prabhupada is saying, one last thing I will say and I'll conclude. See, His Holiness Bhakti Maharaj came to Pune many years ago. Probably in the beginning of 2001 or 2, I think. So 3 days he was speaking only about Kali and Kali-yuga especially. Almost 6-8 lectures he gave. I wish it was all carefully recorded and kept, but we learned a lot of things. The essence of which I will tell you. Maharaj said that Kali-yuga means 4 symptoms. Hypocrisy, quarrel, rebellion, and independent mentality. He said, these 4 things are characteristics of Kali-yuga. So this he was speaking in one of the lectures. So he was telling what is hypocrisy. Hypocrisy means duplicity. Like for example, a man and woman have a suspicious character. And if you point out, the next thing they will do is quarrel. And then they will say, who told you about me? I am all right. Like that they will quarrel. If you point out hypocrisy, people will quarrel. And then when you tell them, why are they quarreling? They will rebel. And after rebelling, they'll become independent. That's a 4th thing, like this. So, in illicit connections, hypocrisy comes. And in violent behavior or arrogant behavior, quarrel comes. So, we have 4 principles, illicit sex, meat eating, intoxication, gambling. So, meat eating also means injuring others by harsh speech. And the example is Shringi. Shringi, in the beginning of Kali-yuga, spoke very harshly at the king Parikshit, although Parikshit was very innocent. Shringi did not consider what his father would think about it. He didn't consider the king's pure qualifications. Without that, he spelled out a curse. So Prabhupada says, in ISKCON, we should be very careful not to misuse our tongue in cursing devotees or in criticizing devotees and blaspheming devotees and creating a situation of hard-heartedness. Because that quarrel, that kind of criticism leads to quarrel between devotees and hard-heartedness. And then the Prabhupada said, we have to keep the wheels moving. Don't stop ISKCON's auspicious activities because of devotee having internal quarrel. Therefore, he said there cannot be any damage to ISKCON from outside. There can only be damage to ISKCON inside. How? Quarrel between devotees. So one of the easiest ways to avoid quarrel is to follow these principles, 3 principles: respect, love, and trust. So when we respect somebody, you cannot criticize them. When you trust somebody, you will give them a benefit of doubt. When you love somebody, you will be sympathetic. So the respect, love, and trust are 3 very important principles between dealing with devotees. And we should be slow to criticize. And we should be fast to figure out what is the actual matter and be willing to listen. So with attentive ear and open mindset, we should be willing to listen first before we can come to any sweeping conclusions. So Shringi did not listen to anyone. He didn't even seek guidance of his father. He acted independently, so-called Brahmana of Kali-yuga. Inexperienced, foolish boy, Prabhupada says. So therefore, Maharaja was also talking about this. In this way, the Kali-yuga is characterized by hypocrisy and quarrel and rebellion and independent mentality. So there are disciples who don't follow the guru. They put up a show of being a nice disciple, but then they want to do what they want to do. They think they can cheat the guru. External alignment, internal whimsical independent behavior. So that type of behavior eventually will be exposed sooner or later. But this is one of the symptoms of Kali-yuga. Narada boy says, Dante akridanake alpabhashini anuvartini. 4 things he says. One of the qualities is I was not naughty. Naughty means what? When the cat is away, the rat is jumping up and down because he's thinking. But when the cat is there, he behaves very well. So behaving nicely in the front and acting independently behind, that is actually called naughty behavior. I was not naughty, he says, that boy. So transparency in thought, word, and deed. When we are done only, we can reach the stage of inoffensiveness, inoffensive behavior. And in Kali-yuga, because there is so much of political influence atmosphere, even in a religious society, this kind of naughtiness can creep in, making a show of respecting somebody superficially, doing drama. So this is a very great curse. So therefore, when we are expanding the society, we have to know that we have to make sure these principles are taken care. Because it's very easy to expand in a big way, but then the purity cannot be preserved. That's the greatest challenge. So there has to be some kind of break-even point we have to arrive at. Where, for example, you want to make preaching centers. Many preaching centers when we make. So you are here and the preaching centers are all around like satellites. Whatever principles you are able to hold here as a leader, you want the same to go on there. Correct? You all agree? Will it go on there? This kind of weight with which all of you good leaders are influencing your own place, which you are able to do, you often will find that there are some losses when the message reaches to those centers. Because they can't preserve that type of purity, sanctity, and that's why we have to have regular training for those in our care to preserve these principles, what Prabhupada is saying in this verse, public leader, king, woman, Brahmana, all those people, how they should lead their life. This is the core teaching. If this core is very good, then we have some substance to expand. Otherwise, fastly expanding will be like diluting the milk. So let me stop here. Another few minutes, we can take some questions. Especially give the mic. Should I give this? Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
This was such a eye-opening. It was just like a mirror. Because of your purity, you could spoke it in such a simple way.
I'm just repeating. I said, Bhakti Maharaj said, Sri Prabhupada said, I'm just repeating. Yeah.
Because of your purity, the topic was becoming more and more clear. The way you were proceeding in the class, it was like as if the heart mirror is coming out and this is also there, this is also there, this is also there. So Prabhuji, how can so much allurement, past bad habits, at the same time current exposure to the social media plus preaching expansions in such a environment, how to protect?
So each of us have different type of strengths and shortcomings. Like I have seen, there are many devotees who are very respectful to women. They don't have that problem, but they have sometimes weakness with money. They take money here and put it there. They take money here and put it there. So each of us have to find out what is my weakness. which is very unique for each of us. Somebody has weakness for, like somebody is very good in Shastric study and assimilating and absorbing and remembering. They may be very good in that, but they may not be very good in behavior. Siddhanta is good, but Sadachara is not good. Then they have to work on that. So in the same manner, I would say, if we all personally sit and introspect and identify some pointers for our self-improvement, we can also ask our mentor, we can also ask our peers. So 3 feedbacks: self-feedback, peer feedback, superior feedback. 3 feedbacks we can take and match it and see. And if you see that all the 3 are saying something similar, that means that really needs to be repaired. Correct, no? That's what I would do first. And then after noting down, then we can go to many Vaishnavas lectures. And then, like once I did that, I heard 20 lectures on false pride. I took many senior devotees lectures, and I pulled out some very good pointers for my self-application, why I should be very careful, not be proud. And so from those points, I extracted, made essence of everything, and then put sutras. Some 20 sutras in front of me. I put on the notice board in front of me, and I keep watching it every day. And that is the way we can gradually, it's called LCD formula, we call it. Learn, commit, do. Learn first from the lectures, and then when you make it into sutras, and committing becomes easy. And then once you commit, commitment is telling with the mouth that I will do it. And do means practically doing it. Correct, no? So in this way, we can bring about a change in our nature. And like, anybody has a pen, I will show you something. It has this thing, yeah, it has this thing, yeah. Now you all know this one. Sometimes this becomes like this. You've seen that? Then what you do, you open it, and like this one, you make it like this. Little extra you make. And then when you put it, then only it can hold. If it is like this, you don't just do like this. What do? Little extra you do. So that it will become little tight enough. Then when you put in your this thing. Similarly, in whichever area you are little weak, like Jadabharata can be little extra strict. Jadabharata, correct? Jadabharata was not little extra, more extra only. Therefore, he is called as Jada Bharata. He behaved like a deaf, dumb man. He understood. Last time I got cheated by that deer. Now I am going to be very careful not to speak one word extra. He said to himself, I'll be very careful. He avoided unnecessary talking. Only pure talking he did. Similarly, Jadabharata is known for his strictness. So we also in our life, in whichever area we have identified, like for example, smartphone is social media, then social media, so many boys are ready to do. We can get it done through them, and we don't have to be having access for that as sadhus. Correct now? So, like some devotees, they doze during driving. Is it good? Dangerous it is, yeah. So then better you never drive. You always have a driver or somebody else will drive. You sit behind. You can read while reading. If you sleep also, no problem. Because you are sitting behind, correct? So we have to find out each area which I am acting, in which areas am I weak. Those areas we have to work on. That's what I am doing also in my life. I'm personally doing it also. And I suggest also others. We all have to work on different areas in which we need to come out, grow. If you want to work on Sadachar, I'll work on Sadachar. Somebody is weak in Siddhanta, then you have to work on Siddhanta. Somebody is weak in dealing with opposite, they have to be extra cautious, careful. Cautious is not just a word. You have to make active steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm going to do these things. Then only we will change. Otherwise, we will not change. Simply knowing the problem is not all. After knowing problem, you have to approach seniors, read books, and assimilate and make points for changing. Then only we can change. Thank you. Is that yeah, here?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for emphasizing on the core principles, and your speech is always inspiring and a lot to learn from your class. So, while maintaining standards, it is seen that not everyone is able to fit in that standard. There will be people who may not be able to follow properly, but they may have other things which are good. So in such a case, especially given that we have mass preaching and so many people coming, so when there are people who are not like following these principles, sometimes it's seen that some brahmachari may end up, doing one of those things which is not and eventually getting into Grihastha ashram, but then in an inappropriate way. So in such a case, we have to maintain the standard of the ashram. We can't just allow that kind of things. But at the same time, he has done a lot service.
We recognize his
How do we
service,
show the
we are
compassion?
grateful, we are appreciative. And then we announce to everybody that he has decided to move to the next order. And he can continue to come. In fact, such people can be full-time grihasthas also. They become very good devotees. Even in Pune, we have few devotees like that who were very good brahmacharis. They got married, and because there is nothing like which they fall down or something, if they are ready to properly marry and husband-wife together practice. Prabhupada says the Gajendra, when he was in water, he was weak. When he was on land, he was strong. So wherever we are strong, if you are strong in Grihastha ashram, accept Grihastha ashram and go on fighting a battle against Maya. If you are strong in Brahmacharya ashram, stay a Brahmachari and fight the battle against Maya. In whichever ashram, you are getting nourishment. Like some people, they perform powerfully in spiritual life as Brahmacharis. Some people perform powerfully in spiritual life as Grihasthas. So you have to find out where one is suitable and there one should perform, like the Prabhupada says. So, actually, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, although Kali is mentioned to be a very dangerous age, there is also a lot of glorification of Kali-yuga also. Because in Kali-yuga, yatra sankirtanenaiva tatra swartho bilabhyate, it is said. Sankirtan is such a powerful thing, all your desires will be fulfilled if you do Sankirtan. All the holes will be filled up, it says. Similarly, there is another verse which says about Parikshit, Nana dveshtikalim samrat saranga yivasarabu kushalanyashu siddhyanti netarani kritaniyat. He says in Kali-yuga, if you think some bad thought, that is not punishable. When? In Kali-yuga. In previous ages, it was punishable. Kali-yuga, it is not punishable. But pure thought, if somebody thinks, I wish I give 1 crore rupees donation to temple, in your account, it is already marked as you have given 1 crore. It's like that. Even thinking. So you can imagine how powerful this Kali-yuga is. So it's advantageous for us. So here is where one secret lies. What is it? We have to keep on learning the art of expressing desires, spiritual desires. We are going to the deities, we can pray to the Lord. Oh Narasimha, please purify me, please protect me. Oh Lord Madan Mohan, please charm me and attract me to yourself. Let me not be stuck in this world. So we have to develop that ability to always pray for purification, for protection, for upliftment, for awakening of Krishna prema. So anybody who has that ability to keep desiring to do something spiritual and offering prayers, they are at a big advantage in Kali-yuga. Like we say, Lalasamayi Prarthana, correct, no? Lalasamayi, Dayanabodhika, Sampratnatika, isn't it? Yeah. So that way, Kali-yuga may be very dangerous, but ISKCON is like a ship. We all are already inside the ship. There is no danger for us. Only we should not jump out of the ship. Just remain inside. And who is the captain? Prabhupada is the captain. There is a agenda, there is a flag with ISKCON name. And then Prabhupada is steering the ship back home, back to Godhead. We just have to stick on, stay in it. Of course, one additional work we can do is to throw ropes and pull more people into the ship. Correct, no? And then everybody can go back to Godhead. Prabhupada ki, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki.
Hare Krishna. So we are very grateful to His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu for his wonderful presentation. Prabhuji told about, he explained the defects of Kali-yuga and also mentioned how to avoid it by superior shelter, feedback system, and purely practicing Krishna consciousness. So as Srila Prabhupada's grandson, he is guiding millions of souls. So I'd like to express gratitude to him by a few words with his blessings. Srila Prabhupada came here to save us. The matchless gift of Krishna consciousness he gave us. In old age and with no wealth, he went to West to deliver fallen souls by giving them the best. For his pure devotee, Krishna made all arrangement. Many youth came to forward with great encouragement. Our His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu, one of his dear grandson, who accepted wholeheartedly Srila Prabhupada's mission. Tadvag Visarga Janatag Viplavo, words be improved. By your revolutionary preaching, world situation improved. Modern educated youth wandering for Maya, ultimately getting failure. Your grace gave them Krishna consciousness, being their spiritual savior. Spiritual master's instruction, disciples only consideration. We learned from you how to execute it with determination. One letter of your spiritual master, you made it your lifeline. Rest is the glorious history. You made youth free from illicit sex and wine. Innovative youth preaching, scientific books, voice format, NVCC temple, and what not. We can only imagine how much empowerment and love from Srila Prabhupada you have got. Apane Achari Prabhu Jivera Sikhaye, you have perfectly shown. By your exemplary sadhana, love and care, you make everybody own. Last two stanzas. You have compassion for whole world, dedication and utmost devotion. Residents of Ujjain being fortunate getting your association. Hearing Krishna Katha from you and receiving your merciful glance, please keep guiding us to utilize this human life's great chance. Thank you, Prabhu. So we are very grateful to His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu. And let us express our gratitude by chanting loud Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki.